Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a first impressions on this right here. This is the MAC Oval 6 brush and I've been wanting the Artis Oval 7 forever. Basically since it came out, since it became such a hit on YouTube, but it's just so bloody pricey. I did find it in a place called Space NK. There's one in Glasgow which is a couple of hundred miles away from me or something like that. And I was going to get it, but I couldn't get into the shop to get it, and by the time I got around to going for it, it was gone. It wasn't in stock anymore, so I don't know if they even stock it anymore. So I decided, I have a Mac Pro card, I get a discount, just order the damn thing. So I went online and I ordered it, and this is the little box that it came in. It literally took like 3 days to get here, I think, or something like that. So here's the box, very bougie. So this is the little brush. And it's quite cute. It's really small. I thought it was going to be bigger, but I think it's more comparable to like the Oval 5 or the Oval 6 rather than the Oval 7. This is the Oval 6. I'm hoping that they'll come out with a bigger one because I think it could be quite cool. I have obviously used it already. It is different. It takes a wee while to do your face because it's so small, but then you can get in about all the good areas. And it is really nice. It isn't perfect. It isn't like you see a lot of people with the Artis brush and it's like, and they're done. But my skin doesn't like brushes. So when I rub this over my skin, it does come up quite red. I'm not going to go into too much detail because you'll see me use it next. Without further ado, let's just get straight into the first impression. As you can see, my skin's not doing really very well at the moment. It is quite red. It is really clearing up though, which is really good, and if it does continue to clear up, then I will be sharing my skincare routine. But it is very red and I do have quite a lot of scarring, so with my beauty blender I tend to not get a really good coverage. I get quite a natural coverage, but it tends to not always really cover up everything that I want it to necessarily cover, so using a brush is really handy for that. So I'm going to use my Too Faced Born This Way foundation because I know I like this foundation, I know it's good, I know it works well for my skin, so I thought what better foundation to use to test it. Decided to get the NYX Angel Veil primer. This is a skin perfecting primer and it's oil free. I'm just going to prime using this. And I do have quite sensitive skin, so my skin does tend to go quite red when I rub it. And I always wear a primer with foundation, so I don't necessarily think that testing the brush out with a primer on will really dictate how well the brush works, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to use my Too Faced Born This Way foundation in the shade Nude, and I guess I'll just start with one pump. And I'm just going to pick up some on the brush and I guess just start blending. It's actually really easy to use. I've seen a couple of videos where people have said that it's quite strange, but I don't actually find that. I'm finding that it's actually quite nice to use. I think I might actually. Okay, so that was 2 pumps and it went on quite nicely. I am used to it leaving really a more dewy finish because I use my beauty blender, and I always find with a brush it always does look a lot more dry. I am considerably red kind of in this area of my face just now. So I have actually used less than I would normally with a beauty blender, but obviously I'm still quite red. I haven't put concealer on yet right enough, so I don't know if that'll change things. But I do have these 2 concealers from Collection, and they're the Collection Lasting Perfection Ultimate Wear Concealer, and I've heard really good things about these. I got 2 shades, so I got Fair and Medium. That's the 2 shades there. So just because I have it here, I figure I'll try it for concealer as well. This concealer, I would say, is really dewy. I wouldn't say this is bad for concealer. The only thing I would say is I don't mind it for like down here, but really the amount of kind of tugging that it does, I mean that's like really light pressure, and see how much it's tugging at my under eyes. I couldn't imagine doing that to my under eyes all the time because it really is not good for the skin under there. It's just far, far too much. And it does work if you use it kind of with a pressing motion, but it doesn't really blend out amazingly well. I think it works better when you kind of swipe it. Just grab my damp beauty blender and thought that I would just go over. I wouldn't say that this is as good as the Age Rewind concealer. I would definitely say that it works way better because you can see on this side, obviously I have the concealer on this side, but you can just see that when you blend it out with a beauty blender it just looks way, way more flawless. I'm just going to try this one for spot concealing. I do like it for spot concealing, but it's not really high coverage or anything like that. I'll have to play around with these a little bit more, but they are reasonable for the price. They are really quite good, but as I say, I'll have to play around with them just a little bit more just to kind of see what the jizz is with them, with the jizz. I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of my makeup off camera, and I'll be back to share with you my first impressions of this brush and the concealer. Okay, so that's me just applied the rest of my makeup to my face, and I do kind of like the finish. I think that I've got a little bit more coverage than with my beauty blender. If you're like me, even when I rub on my moisturiser, my face goes red. So after I had applied all of my foundation, when I was doing the rest of my makeup, my skin underneath calmed down, and I found that the redness that I was seeing through the foundation didn't show as much. And obviously putting on the rest of the products, and that kind of ties it all in together. So yeah, I really do like how it turned out. Obviously, I do still have quite a lot of scarring. I don't like to look like I'm wearing a mask. That's the thing. I don't know, I don't mind some of my imperfections and things like that showing through. I would definitely recommend buying it. I think I got it for like £25 or something like that. I'll put it in the description box below anyway. That is of course taking into account my macro discount. It's definitely a good alternative to, I think it's £60 odd for the Artiste brush, or like 50 something for the kind of comparable one from Artiste. So if you want to try it, then I would definitely recommend going for it, or go into a MAC store and see if they'll apply your foundation with it and see how it looks. But for somebody who generally can't use brushes for foundation, like literally I will get halfway through doing my foundation and go and get my beauty blender and give up. I don't know why, I just don't like applying my foundation with a brush. But this one, a little bit of playing around with, I think it might be quite good. As far as the collection concealer goes, it's not my favourite. It has creased a fair amount underneath my eye. I have two really distinct lines underneath my eye, and concealer always creases in it, but it's really creased with this concealer. I liked it for the spot concealing, but yeah, underneath the eyes, maybe down here is not so bad, but I can still see my kind of like wee freckles that I've got here. So it's not really acting like a concealer, I wouldn't say. So yeah, and I mean down here I used it as well over my blemishes. I think it would be good for somebody who maybe doesn't need as much coverage, and it did blend out really nicely, but I'll play around with that as well. But so far I don't think it's as good as the other ones that I've got, and definitely not as good as the Age Rewind. So I hope this video was somewhat helpful and that you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I have another video coming up on our first impressions, and it's on these brows right here. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you guys soon. Bye!